Mac and cheese for dinner? The answer is always yes.
Oh, Fogust, you think you're so cool with your unrelenting clouds hiding the sun from us, we fragile humans. You know, you're really infringing on my hot girl summer, bro.
You tell him, Heather. There's apparently a new reality show set in Paris. Will I watch it? The answer is also yes.
We. Lately, I miss everyone, but at the same time, I don't really want to see anyone. Embrace them paradoxes, my people.
Yeah. Have such a good day. Hello, world, and welcome back to Have Such a Good Day.
Oh, hello.
I want you to do
Episode 159, y'all. You know, we've
I mean, come on.
come
If
on.
that's not a reason to celebrate, I don't know what is. Yeah.
If you don't know what the hell you're listening to, this is the show that unpacks the absurdity of everyday life for your entertainment. And sometimes we get a little absurd. We don't just talk about the absurdity. We embody the absurdity. How y'all doing
we
out
are
there?
ourselves a little absurd.
And never forget, y'all, we're all in this together. We just want to have a little fun, just a little hour of fun. Is that so much to ask?
I don't think so. I know that many of the Have Such a Good Day community is with us on our journey. And we all kind of talk in between shows about our respective journeys, and it's so great. And we just love y'all. So
Yeah,
hi.
we do. Yeah, you know what? And it's-
welcome back.
Speaking of Discord, yeah, yesterday I had a bit of a doozy Monday where the power went out just out of the blue. And usually because we have a generator and it always automatically pops on, right? And it didn't. Again, this is the second time we've gotten it tested and everything. But, you know, the PG&E was out, our water was out, our Wi-Fi went out. And so it didn't pop back on. So we were like sitting there in the dark. I was in the middle of working on my computer. What is that? And then I ended up going into town, and everyone in town is like asking everybody else, what's going on with the electricity? Because it was the entire town. And still to this day, I don't know what happened, but it was definitely, it threw my whole week into a tailspin. Like I have had to reschedule kind of everything, including the show. But we're now back in business. But it was like 3 hours of lost productivity for sure. But, that's living in the country for you, Sarah. And I was going to say that the Discorders were very supportive. They, told me to hang in there like the little kitten does on the little limb of the tree.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was nice to get that
At the
support.
dentist, it's always the thing that you see. Hang in there. The kitten can do it, and so can you.
How you doing, Sarah? Are you hanging in there?
I'm doing all right. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for asking, Heather. I'm doing okay. It's been kind of a I don't know, like a long week in a weird way.
And it's like Tuesday.
I don't really know. Exactly.
It does kind of feel like a long
What day
week.
is it? What day is it? God, did somebody just punch me in the face? That's what I feel like. No, I kind of, I don't know. I'm doing my thing. I've got stuff to do work-wise, which is great. In fact, just to talk about that a little bit more, I am doing some remote podcast work, and I do that already. I mean, that's my job. But I have
your life.
Like it is my life. But I have new projects that have sort of like fallen into my lap, and I'm super excited about that. So I am doing my podcast thing.
Yay,
What was funny-
you.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that. Yeah, yay me. I was at the market the other morning, and one of the women who works there, I don't know her very well, but she's there in the morning, whatever. And she kind of like, I was in there to like get some coffee, and she was like, well, so what are you gonna do today? You know, making, small talk.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I have some podcasts to do and, you know, the usual. And she was like, podcasts? Tell me more.
I know it's still
And
an
I was like,
intriguing term.
yeah. And I was like, that's my job. And she was like, I have a podcast also. Can I tell you about it? And I was like, not right this second, but
Did you say
yes.
that?
Yes. Yeah, well, because I was in a hurry.
Yeah.
Get my coffee, do my thing. I was like, yes, want to hear more about that. Anyway, I went back afterwards and I was like, tell me about the podcast. And she was like, oh my God. So it's like about like girls who bully other girls. And I'm the girl who's going to like make sure that you don't bully us anymore. And I was like, excellent.
What is it called?
Don't
Bully?
know. Heather, I don't know. I mean, it's a little much, but it was just the whole thing was she was just like, "Oh my God, I love podcasts. I'm also a podcaster." And I was like, "That is so amazing. Let's podcast together."
Dude, I totally get that
Yay.
same reaction. Or they go, oh my God, I have a really cool podcast idea. Can I tell you about it? And
Right,
I get
right,
that a
right.
lot
And you're
too.
like,
Like, okay.
maybe.
I'm so nice. I realize I am a pretty nice person. And I'm like, sure, I would love to hear it. And then I'm like, inside, I'm going, why did you do that? You've just lost 15 minutes of your life.
Like 45 minutes
Yeah,
later,
maybe
you're
more like
like,
45.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am pro podcaster. That's
Yeah,
how
you
I
got to
feel
be.
about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, there's pretty much at this stage of the game, there's a podcast about everything, almost everything. And if it hasn't been created, then it's probably in development right now. You could search for any podcast content you want, and you're probably going to come across something. But I remember back in the day, not even that long ago, maybe how many years ago, when podcasts were still kind of more
True, true,
rare.
true.
What was the one that
Yeah.
was like it was the murder mystery one that got all
Oh,
these awards.
cereal.
Serial, that was
Cereal.
awesome. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really listen to that type of like narrative type of podcast anymore because I don't really know what to listen to, but I really enjoyed it. And then there was a couple more after that that I listened to that I liked. I don't know if you listen to any of that type of thing, crime, mystery, thriller.
Oh, definitely. Definitely listen to Serial. Also, what was the one that was like SH Shittown?
Oh,
That
never.
was really, really good.
Okay.
Really good.
I remember like
Yeah.
Dear John.
Sorry, everybody,
Dear John
for
was good.
dropping the SH word, but no, really, really,
Okay.
very many twists and
I'll
turns.
check that out. Yeah, because I mean, I do.
Yeah,
I
I
got
think you might
my,
like that.
I got my
I think you
like,
might like that.
my nonfiction stuff, my talk shows, and that kind of thing, my news and that sort of thing. And I have lots
Yeah.
of them that I can't keep up with, but I'll check that out. So yeah, I thought of you yesterday because I don't know if you ever saw I have this little T-shirt that says I hate le mondays, and it's a sour lemon face. He's wearing like a French beret. And it's a T-shirt, and it says
That's
I hate
cute.
le mondays.
I
And
love it
I know
already.
it's really
Yeah.
cute, but it's a shirt that it's one of those shirts that kind of stays in the back of my drawer because it kind of tugs at my neck like in the front, and it's kind of like a little crop tee, which I love if I'm just not, like I'm going out or whatever, I'm wearing high-waisted jeans, but
Yeah.
it's not like the most comfortable tee. And it also, I don't know if I'm not sure if it looks great on me, so I don't wear it that often. But yesterday I woke up and I just felt like wearing it. And my boyfriend thinks that it jinxed us. He's not a very superstitious guy, but he was like,
What do you
you
mean?
wore that shirt. I mean, he was kind of being facetious, but
Did you have a bad day?
well, yesterday was, yeah, it was a bit of a doozy. I woke up, I had so much on the agenda. we were getting back into the show, and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
Monday morning. Like it's like kind of still first of the month, rent's coming in, like lots of bills, lots of
Sure.
stuff I got to
Yeah.
get in the mail. I mean, it's
Yep.
just a busy day,
Mm-hmm.
and it just threw a huge wrench into it. Wasn't just me. Elijah is the man of the house, and he took the reins of uh, um, this whole generator thing because it's kind of a dude thing, and he had to kind of go around the yard and check all the electrical and all the stuff with the keys and
Oh,
things.
Heather,
And
don't I know it?
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
I know it.
Anyway, but
Yeah.
no, it's Tuesday now. It's been a better day. Sometimes when I have a tough Monday, my Tuesday's like way better. And that's why I get nervous on Sunday. And it's like, we talk about the Sunday scaries, and there's a lot of reasons for it. But my Sunday scaries are usually because I am worried that it's going to be like a total Garfield Monday.
Clusterfuck of a week.
Because it kind of,
Yes.
Monday's tough because you got to dive into so many things that you maybe didn't think about for 2 days.
Every time.
Yeah,
Every time. I mean,
can't win.
it's so funny. Like friends of mine who don't live near me, sometimes they're like, "What are you up to today?" And I'm like, All the errands."
Hmm.
I mean, like I have to go to the bank. I have to go to a credit union. I have to
Hmm.
go to the post office. Like, not fun.
No,
No,
no, no.
that's what we're doing today.
I am like chained to my post office box. It's like this is something that I hope to resolve in the coming years. I thought it would be the coming months, but it's probably going to be the coming years. But just it's kind of a fun, weird ritual though to go to my PO box. It's like in some ways I enjoy it, but I also feel so strapped to snail mail. And
Mm.
dude, I mean, I've had more than 6 or 10 different bills get lost in the mail this last 6 months. I mean, the USPS issues, they're real. They're
Yeah,
real. And I've had to like cancel checks
they
and
are real.
rewrite them.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's just a headache. It's a headache. My hand hurts. I get tired of writing checks. And hopefully that will change soon. Anyways, Sarah, I mean,
Um, yes. Yes, Heather,
yes.
tell me more.
So I would say for the most part, because August has not been that long yet. It's been what, 8 days. So we're not that deep
Yes,
into August.
we're not even halfway through
We
it.
are not. But it's already been feeling like Fogust. And this is a term that I recall
Hmm.
from the days of living in SF, that is San Francisco, which it's been a long time since I've lived there. And I don't think
Yeah.
all those years in LA were Fogusty. I remember it being really hot in August and kind of hating it at the same time. Except for maybe living on the
Hmm.
west side in Santa Monica, like on those early years, I do remember there being coastal fog. And yeah, earlier when I was kind of writing or like thinking about this Fogust thing for the show, my friend Jill called and she was totally complaining about how hot it is in LA right now and that she would kill for some fog. And it's just the whole weather thing is hilarious with people. It's like,
Yeah.
you always use that
Yeah.
expression like, oh God, all they want to do is talk about the weather. Someone who maybe you would consider boring or I don't know, has nothing else to talk about. Like
Yeah,
like
like this is all we
yeah,
have.
like you talk to your
Let's talk
your
about the
mom or a
weather.
parent about food and weather or something, or it's just like it just
Yeah.
becomes this thing. Everything whittles down to, and I talk about it a lot too, but I talk about all kinds of other things. But this August, man, it's really weighing on me. It's sort of cramping my style.
So when you say Fogust, do
Mhm.
you mean that you wake up in the morning and it's just gloomy
Yeah,
every day?
exactly. And so the thing is like
Okay.
there's definitely a lot of sun up here. It's just it'll come out in the afternoon. Like yesterday was miraculous. It was foggy in the morning, and at like 1 o'clock, it got to be like 70 degrees yesterday. And I got outside, I was gardening, and it was just amazing. And the ocean was super blue. The sunset was awesome. So it's not like I don't get it. It's just waking up
Yeah.
with the sun, like I miss it. I miss waking up and making my coffee and it being sunny outside. There's something very motivating and that sun
The only reason
energy.
I'm cackling is because every morning at around 5:30 when Ralphie the cat starts, being like, "Meh, I would like to be fed." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
"Nope. No way." And I put my little eye mask on and I go back to sleep for the next couple of
Does he
hours.
let you go back to sleep?
I just ignore him.
Well, I still act surprised, like living literally on an ocean bluff where I'm like, why is it
Yeah.
so foggy? Where's the sun? But it's just sun motivates me. And I don't need LA sun, like where I have sun every day. I don't need that. I really don't. It's just that it's August, we're supposed to have like a hot, fancy summer, or at least enjoy yourself. Hot girl summer, they call it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
ready. I'm ready
Mm-hmm.
for it. So I'm actually going to LA next week. So I'll get my fill because it'll be too hot and I'll complain about
Way to
that.
bury the lead, Heather. Hot girl summer. What are you doing next week? Hanging out in LA,
That's
being real
right.
pretty.
I'm already making all kinds
Yeah.
of but it's like my week is completely booked and I've been like threatening to like not go. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to unravel all these plans. I have a flight like that I bought months ago. And I think when I
Mm.
do that, for I do it because it sets something in stone, it puts something in the calendar, but then when the time comes, I'm so overwhelmed with all this stuff happening here that I'm like, "Oh, maybe I
Yeah.
shouldn't go."
Yeah.
And so I'm
Of
like,
course. Of course.
but I already made all
Well,
these
because you're
plans
property
and
managing. I mean,
yeah.
it's
Property
we
owning,
talk
yo.
we property owning.
Owning it.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, I'm curious about y'all out there. Are you experiencing Fogust where you are, and how do you feel about it? Do you love it? Do you love it when the cool mist air rolls over your face and you like wearing beanies in the summer? Maybe you're doing the fog dance. Email us at hi@havessuchagoodday.com.
Indeed, please do early and often. We have some folks in our Discord who don't actually have fog all the time
Mm-mm.
because they live in very, very warm climates. And
Arizona, to
to
name
those of
one.
you, right, I
You
say,
know who you are.
keep cool. Keep cool, Mike Mills.
Yeah, stay cool, stay sexy, stay all the things, all the good things.
Stay sexy. Yes, for sure. Speaking of
Uh,
sexy,
ooh.
aka not, um, I I had a funny thing that happened over the last week where some former colleagues of mine are in the crypto world
Mhm.
now. All good. And they do crypto stuff like the GM.
Mhm.
Are you familiar
You're
with the
being so
GM?
cryptic about this crypto stuff.
Yeah, like good
Explainy.
morning. That's what it
Okay.
means. Good morning, GM, because we're in crypto, and like I don't know. I have a lot of friends who are in this I don't know, deal and, people make money off of it, et cetera, et cetera. But like I'm just like it's so corny.
I don't know. I have days. Do you have days where you see through everything where you're like eye rolly, like even stuff that normally, like,
Yes.
okay, for example, let me give you an example. Wait,
100%
I'm
Heather.
going back.
Yeah.
I'm actually going back to my Monday yesterday. So I think you and I were chatting a little bit because I was giving you a play by play of my Monday, and
Yeah.
because
Right,
everything was
right.
out, I decided to go to the nail salon because I didn't have anything else to do, and so I go in there. I start walking in and my purse breaks. Like I can't even explain it. It was like the weight, it ripped the strap off, it fell on the ground. My stuff is all over the ground. So I go into the nail salon and I'm waiting and the strap is all screwed up. So it's hard for me to hold the purse. So I put it on the shelf that's like in the waiting
I'm
area.
not trying to laugh
No,
at
no,
you.
you can laugh because I laughed. I didn't
I
cry. I laughed. I mean, I could have cried.
well, right. Because like it's one of those things where you're just like,
And you like look up at
okay,
the sky
okay,
and you're like,
universe, thanks.
yeah. And so but
Yeah.
it was just like it was like, what do you call it? A comedy of errors. And so I go in, put my purse on this like little shelf that has all the fake, when you pick out a gel color and it's all those little like fake nails, like the whole shelf fell off. And it was just this big commotion. Anyway, long story short, they always play the house as some kind of, I don't know exactly which show it is, but there's a million of those reality shows about renovating your house. Okay. It was some one of those shows. I don't know the
Something
name. Okay.
HGTV
Something
probably.
HG. Yes,
Uh-huh.
totally.
Yeah.
And you
Mhm.
can't help. I hate watching some of those shows during the day. They've got these TVs everywhere, but you kind of are forced to, because what else are you going to do? You can't use your hands. And so I'm kind of like side eyeing it, listening to it, like not really wanting to. It was
But
so
you're like, it's
cheesy. Oh my God. I was like, I
yeah.
felt like bad for the people. I just felt like they were trying to crack these jokes about the countertop and it just, I just feel like it feels like you're squeezing content out of something that you're just trying so hard to like make it entertaining and funny, and it just
Yeah.
comes across
Yeah.
so forced to me. And I don't know if it's because I just don't really watch that stuff, and so it feels so like foreign and weird to me. Like, just it doesn't feel authentic to me. And plus I was watching it in the middle of the day in a nail salon on a Monday with like Monday mind, so maybe that's part of it. But
It's funny, but the nail salon that I go to every so often, because when I put gels on my nails, it makes it horrible. But they don't have that. It's like a Phil Collins, but like a Phil Collins. Uh,
say no more.
No, it's I don't, I'm trying to explain it. It's like Phil Collins, but like somebody on a piano playing
Totally.
Phil Collins stuff.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay. I mean, I would prefer to have TV on right now,
Yeah,
but
I know
okay,
exactly what you're talking
whatever.
about. It's like this is the deep world of cable that I don't get why people even have it anymore. Like, I just had a conversation, probably the 100th, the same conversation I've had with my sister, where she just can't let go of cable. And she has the Netflix, she has Amazon, she has a couple other, she has HBO, whatever, but she will not get rid. And I ask her point blank, because this is when I'm in a hotel or whatever, and I'm on, I turn the TV on to see what they have, and usually it's crap. And
Yeah.
it's usually just endless cable channels of nothing, of vapid nothing, and you're just scrolling, and you can't find anything but maybe a Simpsons or a Seinfeld rerun if you're lucky. And she couldn't even answer the question, like, why do you need it? It's like a crutch. It's this weird. I'm like,
Yeah.
I I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I think that mindless drivel of cable, to me, all that endless content that just, I don't know. I know sports fans. I totally get that. Totally get it. But yeah, I don't know. Uh, yeah. Speaking of bad, bad television, I should talk because
Yeah.
I'm such a jerk, because I've
Tell
been
me more, Heather.
I've been on this 80s TV movie kick. I don't know if you ended up watching a lot of that type of fare, when you were a kid, and it was on like the 8 o'clock movie on Channel 4 or something. And it was like,
I was allowed to watch anything before 8 p.m.
okay, okay, well,
because
maybe there was a
otherwise
seven
it
o'clock
was it
movie.
was bedtime for Sarah. So
Ooh,
like
that's an early
Cheers,
bedtime.
no. Yeah,
Wow, I think I
well,
stayed up late. I probably stayed up later than I
I
do
think I
now.
think my parents were just like, go to bed.
They're like,
God,
I've had enough out of
we've
you. Go to
had
bed.
we've had enough of you. Yeah, but no,
That's probably
like
what
I
happened.
like Cosby Show. I'm sorry, very problematic now,
Very,
but
totally.
at the time, watched a lot of Cosby, Family Ties, but then Cheers. No, Sarah
Mhm.
had to go to bed.
It's really funny. I'm like, gosh, how late did I stay up? Because I remember watching like the 8 o'clock movie and then the 10 o'clock movie.
What are you watching? Night Court, Heather?
Yeah, we
Jeez,
did. We watched
Louise.
like all those weird court shows, and like, oh, I was such a TV kid. It's so bad. But I think part of the reason why I'm really into I've been so busy this summer. Like, and I'll get into that in a sec. But
Hmm.
I've been so busy that like at night, just even like, okay, what are we doing for dinner? So like Elijah and I switch off. He'll cook
Yeah.
sometimes and I cook, or we'll have leftovers, or I'll just scrap something together from the garden, which usually turns out to be like awesome. But it takes effort, and especially if I have to go out to the garden with my scissors and my basket and like figure out what to do. At the end of the day, sometimes I just cannot wait to get on the couch for like the measly hour that I have as the sun goes down, to watch something. And like I've
I
said
hear that,
in
sister.
previous shows, we all have our guilty pleasures or our guilty watches that relax us, right?
100%.
And
Yeah.
like I was saying a few episodes back, how much I'm into noirs. Like we've been watching all the old noirs that have a certain comfort to them. And then lately it's been my 80s TV movies, which I've shared a few awesome cover art from the DVDs with the Discorders. And,
No.
it's like Attack of the Killer Bees and like just ridiculous, even Attack of the Killer Ants, Sarah. And they're so soothing, and that's like all I have. That's all that my mind can handle, is to sort of glaze over. I don't need to really think. I'm not reading any subtitles. And yeah, so anyway, it is the summer of projects galore, and I know that you've got your new project with your crypto people. Sounds really exciting. No, I'm actually truly excited for you. And I'm really curious to
Oh,
see
thanks.
where this
Yeah.
goes, and
Yeah. Same,
and
same,
maybe you
same.
can talk a little bit more about it down the road.
I would like to do that. Definitely for sure. So I was at a friend's house the other night, just because you're talking about vegetables, and I was like, can I bring something before I come over? The general things that
Yeah.
you ask.
Hmm.
And she was like, yeah, could you bring some like small mozzarella balls? And I was like, can do.
So
Can do.
specific.
Very specific. But I'm like,
I don't even know
I
where to
feel
get
like
those.
I know where you're going for here. And so like, yes, I will bring them. And I brought like 20. you know, and they were like, wow, crazy. But so my friend, they do a lot of like you do, Heather, vegetable growing. They had quite a few tomatoes that were, sort of like eat them
Ready
now
to
or
eat.
don't eat them ever. Yeah. Yeah. So like with the mozzarella balls and the tomatoes and some salt and
Mm,
pepper and a
mm,
little bit of
mm.
balsamic. I mean, let's
Talk
go.
dirty. Oh, but if you throw in some cottage cheese in
Oh,
there, I am
oh my
hungry.
God, cottage cheese.
I've been bringing
Can
it
we
up to
talk about
everybody.
cottage
I'm like, yeah,
cheese?
no,
Because I
everyone.
know I know you're back
I'm back.
on the cheese
I'm
train.
back.
So like what are you doing with the cottage
Okay, so this is
cheese?
really funny. So like it's not that I didn't like cottage cheese before. I've always been a fan. But when I was in Iowa, of all places, they had
Mm.
my Elijah's parents had a bunch of cottage cheese in the refrigerator. And at some point it came up that that was like their breakfast of choice or something. And I was like, oh, well, what do you put in it? And it was like, cherry tomatoes, whatever it was. I can't remember exactly. And it was nothing like
Yeah.
what you put in yours. You probably have the most extreme weird.
I'm kind of I'm kind of a weird eater, but
You are, but
okay.
it's cute. It's endearing. But like, so I just was like, I was into it. So I got some and I was like, God, I've really been missing out. I like the Nancy's probiotic one is my favorite. And
Oh
it's kind of like a
yeah,
health
yeah,
brand.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
put my whole thing, I eat it for lunch. And I put that, there's actually a Trader Joe's version, but I think there's other kinds you can get. But it's sort of like the everything bagel spice where it's like sesame seeds, like dried
Oh, it's
onion,
like it's
garlic,
it's like
poppy
it's
seeds.
like sort of like
It's like
allspice,
all seed. It's an
but
all seed
but
blend.
something, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that.
It's
And then
called something
I
else.
also put pickled jalapenos in it. That's another new
Oh
thing that I
yeah,
do. I know.
girl.
I'm like,
Yes,
man, I am like a
yes.
taste maker.
ASMR. Tell me more.
Dude, cottage cheese is total ASMR of the mouth.
It so is. It's so good. Like every morning where I'm like, oh yeah, cottage
Oh, it is
cheese.
just people don't talk about cottage cheese enough. We do not give cottage cheese
No.
enough credit. I am not happy about this. Anyway, Sarah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
digress. So I
Okay.
wanted to talk to you a little bit about some internet mainstays that these internet sites that have been around for a long time that are like a huge part of people's lives that are just like the name brands, like the Amazons, the Apples, the eBay, blah blah blah.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so I never was like a huge Etsy person or even a Pinterest person. Like I've always had Pinterest boards. I've had them for years. They've been on there just kind of collecting dust, over the last decade or two. And I mean, they're huge sites. And I remember the day when they came out. I mean, that's how old we are. I remember in San Francisco when we were doing early
Mm.
internet stuff. And I remember when Etsy was a tiny little thing that was basically like, to me, it was sort of felt like a big garage sale, and it kind of was back then. I would say early on, it felt more rinky dink to me. And so I kind of never really, sure, I bought an occasional thing on Etsy. I would search on there
Yeah.
or whatever, but I don't know. It was weird. I guess I stopped really thinking about it. And then Elijah is a really big Etsy guy. He's always getting interesting gems. He really knows how to search it. It's like his favorite, which I think is very endearing. And I'm always like, wow, I mean, he looks for different things than I do. So that's cool. But I yeah, so I recently I have had to dive into Pinterest in particular because I'm working on these renovations. I'm doing a pretty much a full bathroom renovation of our master bathroom, and I'm doing not a full renovation of the kitchen, but I am adding some tile, like a backsplash, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going a little further than I had planned.
Looking at the
Yes, because
options
everything
and
kind of has to
yeah.
fit together. So, I've
Yeah.
been talking a lot about how much fun I'm having in I love interior design. I love figuring out the aesthetic of a room. It's one of my favorite things, but it's hard. And I mean, I feel like I have a natural instinct for it, but I also, gosh, it's been hair pulling. So I Pinterest is like an obvious way to gather your visual thoughts. And so I've
Yeah.
kind of enhanced
Yeah.
my Pinterest account and I have my
Uh-huh.
rooms, and then in the bathroom, board, you've got lots of separate boards that are like shower tile, floor tile, vanity, mirror, plumbing. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in there. And I've had to really, really hone it down because the guy that I'm working with is an actual professional team, but there's one, he's like the main guy he's like the lead designer or whatever. So I'm working with him.
Mm.
In fact, on Thursday, I'm meeting him at the tile and flooring place and I get to pick out all that stuff, which is super fun. But
Oh,
I know. In the
Heather.
meantime, and I'm totally like dreaming about this stuff. Like had a dream that I like met up with him and he was like not sure about my ideas and just was like, so it's very much
Just
something that is
an
on my brain
anxious
right now.
dream.
Yeah. And
Yes. Yeah.
so
For
anyway,
sure. Yeah.
my point is here. So I've got my Pinterest. It's helped me a lot, and he seemed to really resonate with my ideas, but I had to really hone them. Like so Monday, what I did while the Wi-Fi was out is I just wrote down and sort of linked all the things he needed for like he's purchasing them. So it's like he wants me to use mostly some of the sites that he has deals with kind of thing. And so I need to
Mm-hmm.
find these things and tell him what I want. And then he buys them and then he puts them in and everything. It was hard. It took me like a half a day to just put together all these links of all the things down to like the plumbing and like the knobs and the blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And it was a
The
little hair pulling.
unsexy parts of it
Yeah,
a
and
little
then
bit,
there's the
right?
whole thing of like, you can't match all of your plumbing. The whole thing about matching metals is really hard, especially in a bathroom or a kitchen because you're inevitably going to have something that isn't going to be, maybe you want everything to be brass. It's really hard to find everything.
Sure.
And then it's too
Your
brassy.
aesthetic.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you come across all these sort of issues and I had all these other hurdles with structural things. I'm in there with my measuring tape, just like trying to solve all these problems. Anyway, yeah, when I'm not on Pinterest, enough about that. When I'm not on Pinterest or Etsy or out and about with my measuring tape, I am parked on the couch, like I said, for a sliver of time, watching something just to kind of decompress. And I know we talked about this a little bit at some point in the last like month or so. But I know, and I've been sort of talking about my 80s TV movies and my noirs and all the things that I watch on a regular basis. Well, I'm also on the side squeezing in that show, The Rehearsal, which is on HBO. And Elijah, not Elijah, you have mentioned that you've seen it, but you couldn't really get through.
Is it Elijah or Sarah? I can't keep them.
I can't keep them
Yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
Elijah's the tallest and
No,
Sarah's
it's
the shortest.
really, really good. Yeah. Right.
It
That's
is
how you know.
seriously, Sarah, it is the weirdest show I've ever seen. It is the
I love
weirdest
that you
show.
feel this way. It's so weird.
It's so weird. I
It's so,
cannot wrap my head
weird
around
to the
it.
point where I'm like, who wrote
Like, who is this guy? Okay, so here's what I
Yeah.
wanted to discuss this a little bit because I wanted to break it down a little for y'all who don't know what we're talking about. So this is a show that's on HBO, and it's a Canadian comedian named Nathan Fielder. He's been around for a
Yeah.
while. He had a previous show called Nathan For You, and I did go back and watch a few episodes. Pretty hilarious. That might be a good way to start because you kind of get to know his style. But I really think it's a very unique subgenre of reality television. It's basically a reality show, and it rehearses like uncomfortable life events, like anything from something so like a small conflict with a friend, or like,
Yeah.
faux raising a child with a stranger and just like going through the steps, and it's like the minutia is what makes me crazy and what makes it so weird because it's like these awkward, uncomfortable moments. And he's also
Very strange.
yeah, he's also kind of taking the piss
Very
out of
strange.
like the reality show genre in a lot of ways. And it's obviously very meta, very, very
Yeah.
meta.
Yes.
So
Yes.
but it's
That is
so
a good point.
it's funny to like see how he's producing this because to me it seems like a producing nightmare. I like producing. There's certain things I would like to produce more than others. This is at the bottom of my list. I just find this type of
Why
production
do you feel that way?
because of the minutia. It's like nothing's really pretty in it. It's all very
It's
day to day monotony. A lot of setup, a lot of details. He builds from scratch. Like for example, one of the storylines is this guy who lied to his his bar trivia friends that he had a master's degree, and he had to break the news to one of his teammates that like after all these years, like, yo, like I'm sorry, but and so this guy, the Fielder guy, builds a like very, very detailed replica of the bar, the Brooklyn bar, like an actual film set. And then he goes through every single tiny possible result of this conversation.
But don't you love that?
I do.
It's so when I watched it, because I also watched the show, I'm like, this is amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. I love it, but it's also like very painful to watch in a lot of ways, but I also think it's very brilliant. That's why I think I'm bringing it up and why it's totally breaks the mold of a lot of like just like, drivel, like sort of derivative like drivel. This is very unique. This guy is a very unique comedian. The lengths that he goes to. I mean, he's like wearing a laptop strapped to his chest, which is such a cool rig. Like I totally want that. But he looks like such a dork. And he's just like he just has this like awkwardness about him that is so funny and cringeworthy at the same time,
But also lovable.
Oh, so lovable. Yeah. Totally. I highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for something different and weird. Very fringy comedy. But yeah, The Rehearsal, very, very funny. I don't know, Sarah, did you watch the one with the baby? Like
I've seen all.
Oh, you've seen. Oh, you did finish them. I wasn't. I thought that you gave up.
I did, but then I went back.
You went back for more.
Yeah. Between 3 and 6 p.m., Heather, I might watch lots of
So
things.
you love it. Like you're into it. Like you're going to watch his next project.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think of it?
Love him. I love.
Would you date him?
No.
No. I thought he was really cute when remember when he dressed up like
Would
the
you
chef,
date him?
or I'm sorry, that acai bowl guy.
I
I thought that was
I
hilarious.
don't want to date him,
Nah,
but
but I think
like,
he's
no, I
funny.
like
I'm
him.
sure he's very fun to
Yeah,
hang out with.
he's funny. There
Yeah.
we go.
Funny is
Yeah.
sexy. All right.
And dude, so as we wrap up on episode 159,
Mhm.
which has been very
Lots of
fun.
laughs, no cries. We get lots of emails. We're kind of popular, you know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I really
Mm,
enjoyed these emails. They're so great. But anyway,
kind
yes,
of
we did.
popular.
We got a great email from Scrambled Eggs. We're not going to blow up your spot. This is his internet moniker, if you use that
There.
word
Yes,
anymore.
yes, yes.
So he wrote us in and said, "Hi, Sarah and Heather. Sarah mentioned at the top of the last episode that updating her car insurance policy was one of the most confusing things in life. Being confused is one of the insurance industry's strengths, it seems," which I think is hilarious. However, called to cancel a UFit gym membership last week, and that process is one of the most time consuming and confusing things I have done in a long time.
100%.
I also make
Oh,
a
scrambled
coconut
eggs.
cream pie that people go crazy over because we talk about coconut cream pie from time to time on the show. But I can't figure out a good way to get that from Florida to California. And you wouldn't have to
Oh,
eat homemade food from a stranger on the internet. Always looking forward to the shows. Scrambled eggs. You know, it's so funny,
okay.
scrambled eggs. There's so much to unpack
So
here.
many things to yes, I was about to say the same thing. Like, okay, like number one, insurance policies, bunch of bullshit.
Ugh,
Number two, coconut cream pie,
the opposite of
very
bullshit.
good. Yeah. Number three, I don't even know what it is,
The fact
but
that he was like, "Ooh, how could I send it to California?" That is so sweet. That would be
it is so
awesome.
sweet. It would
That's a
be,
cool
yeah.
company idea. Like find out a way to send freshly baked cookies really fast across the country. Entrepreneurs, perk up your ears. I'm giving you a good
Hmm.
idea. Start coding.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Anyway, yes,
Well,
I'm into this. I'm into this because I'm actually in the process of which I might hit you up. You know, he was so kind to offer and any advice that we might need, and I'm in the process of possibly moving over some of my company insurance. We've got a lot of insurance going on, and this company we're working with used to be great. They've kind of fallen off like a lot of places, and we don't really get the attention that we need. And it's been so frustrating. It's something that I would love to just pawn off. I insurance is one thing that I hated being a producer. It was honestly out of because being a producer, you wear a lot of hats, creative and nuts and bolts, but you also have to deal with
horrible.
insurance. And it was my least favorite thing.
Horrible.
It
Yeah.
was hard to wrap my head around, so confusing, kind of like crypto. And I feel like everything is so much more complicated these days. And I think it's funny that you bring up the UFit membership because it's like you would think it should be easy, right? It's not like some government membership that's like really intricate and complicated. I had the same experience with a domain company that my dad had emails that he basically bought. You know, back in the day, you could actually you know, you purchase instead of getting a free Gmail or a free Yahoo, you get like a kind of a niche company to give you a certain amount of data and you pay $5 a month or whatever. So I'm trying to cancel that account and you would laugh, Sarah. You would be on the floor laughing at how ridiculously complicated my phone calls have been with these people. And it's like, you would think I'm like trying to save the world with this conversation. It's like, why is this so hard to unravel this account? You know, it's emails that aren't even used anymore. It's like, it's
Uh-huh.
wild. It's wild. So we feel your pain, scrambled eggs. And that's
We do.
scrambled eggs with a
We
Q,
do.
mind you.
Scrambled eggs is
Scrambled
how I
eggs.
feel in the morning anyway.
Anyway, we really love it when you guys write in. We
We do.
never
We
not have
do.
time to read your emails. We don't always showcase them on the show, but you
Yeah.
know we try to write you back when we can, and please keep them coming. Hi at havessuchagoodday.com.
Indeed. Thank you so much for everybody's, just telling us how you feel.
Just being
I
you.
think for yes, being you. I think before I start singing too much, Heather, we probably should wrap the show up. But it was fun.
It was super fun. And we're not going to belabor the Patreon plug. You guys know the drill.
You know the drill.
Patreon.com/have such a good day.
You know what to do to directly support us. Yep.
Do it now. That's it. That's all we're going to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we will be back next week for more scintillating programming. And until then, I will remain Heather, not Sarah.
I will remain Sarah. I'm Sarah. She's Heather.
Have such a good day.
Have such a good day.
Peace.